Guys, welcome to the channel today. I am so excited about talking about this game today. This is The Outer Worlds. Wow, what a game. I had such a great time with this game. But before we get into it, I am Fiddling Fox Gaming, and today, again, we are talking about The Outer Worlds. So, first thing I want to talk about is the pros of this game. I want to talk about all the things that I liked about it first, because there's so much to love about it. The character creator in this game is incredible, okay? It's not necessarily all that in-depth in terms of what you can do to the appearance. It is pretty in-depth. You can spend a lot of time with it if you want to, as far as the appearance goes. But the main thing that I'm concerned with in the character creator is when you start choosing your character's perks. What kinds of things you want to put into the character, what kind of things you want to take away, and yes, you can take away things. So there are like 6 main attributes. You get 6 points, and you can put them or take points away from intelligence, charm, charisma, all those sorts of things, right? But it starts you out first. You can take away, if you take away intelligence from your character, you can do a dumb playthrough, which is essentially what my friend Zach and I did. We did a playthrough together. We created a character together, and that's probably the best thing about this game in and of itself, is you can really role play your character, and the key to this is just creating a character that you really love. And we created a great one, Space Jayhard. He is a combination of Johnny Depp and Tom Hardy, but just really dumb. And the space version of those guys. So that's what he looks like. His haircut, his mustache. He's Space Jayhard. So anyway, we made our character just very dumb. Took out all of his intelligence points. Put most of his points into strength and charisma. And you can choose also what their former profession was. So we chose. We made him an engineer. Right, so he was an engineer, but in all actuality, he was a safety inspector. He was not a good safety inspector. He was a safety inspector. So anyway, you get the picture. The character creator is a real plus. The next thing is the art style. The art style of this game was beautiful, in my opinion. I thought every time I looked at a skybox in this game, every time I looked at the brush, the trees, the rocks, how the scenery interacted with everything, I just thought the art style was magnificent. I really did. And then the next thing, as far as pros, the story of this game was very engaging, and it was very fast-paced. You genuinely felt like, you could stop and do side quests, but you felt like those side quests were really a part of building the legend of your character and also your sidekicks around you. And boy, the supporting cast of this game is pretty fantastic as well. The 3 most notable, in my opinion, were Sam, which is a mech that you can repurpose for combat, really. But Sam believes he is cleaning. That's what makes him great. He constantly spats out these like very corporate sounding sound bites as he uses his character abilities, and as he's fighting, he's talking about getting out stains and getting rid of the filth in a very cheerful, corporate-friendly voice, of course. And then you had Parvati, who had a very engaging backstory, and you are assisting her in kind of her personal life, which is very, it's very sweet. It's very engaging. I found her to be an awesome addition to the supporting cast, and honestly, some of these side quests alone make this game worth purchasing by themselves. I could honestly, there was one side quest that I did not do, and that involved Felix, who is one of your crew members. I fired him. Zach and I thought it'd be really funny to just, fire a crew member just because. So we did. And because also, again, J-Hard's not that smart. He didn't like Felix very much. He just got rid of him. Didn't feel like Felix could cut it. So, in this review, you were really pining for a review of Felix's side story. Just know that we don't have that information for you. However, what we do have is all of the other side quests were great. Another really good one was the Vicar, and he's kind of a priest. He has like this whole, there's this religion in the Outer Worlds, and that religion is essentially, it's the plan. It is, the religion is essentially, worshiping, consumerism and materialism. Like the Outer Worlds is just full of an almost caricature of just the extremes of, the extremes of capitalism to the nth degree. But anyway, all of it is really well done. When you're playing this, you're going to catch very Fallout, a lot of Fallout and Firefly vibes. There's a lot of that there, and I think that's great. But again, in the storyline, you're going to get great backstories, great side quests from all of your supporting cast members. The main storyline itself is the colony of Halcyon is in real trouble. You were on board a colony ship from Earth, to Halcyon that never really made it to the colonies, and you've got Earth's brightest minds on board with you, and you have this doctor who's waking you up, and his goal is to wake up these other colonists and start making a better world, and then this is in direct opposition to the entity known as the Board, which is, a corporate board made up of all the various corporations, on the colony, and their goal is essentially profit for themselves and keep things going the way that it is. They're not really wanting to expend resources on the colonists, and it's kind of unclear why they don't want a prosperous colony, but they don't. That's actually one of the weaker points of the story, is the main villain. The dialogue options are amazing in this game, especially if you do a dumb playthrough. If you make your character just incredibly stupid, it makes the dialogue options just so much better. Can't recommend it enough. The best thing about the story, again, by far, is your supporting cast, how they're interacting with each of these quests, building up to your conflict with the Board. The conflict with the Board itself is sort of anticlimactic. The villain, in this series is pretty faceless, pretty, mysterious to a degree that is not incredibly satisfying. But I think just the sheer weight of all of the other awesome things going on in this story really outweigh that. The story, again, is just really incredible. You're going to have a lot of fun playing through it. At least I did. So as far as the other pros, I would say a really violence-prone vicar, that priest, boy, he has some things that he needs to get off his chest. He usually does it in a very violent way. It's very entertaining. Again, very engaging dialogue options. The name of the ship and the feel of the crew. The name of your ship that you kind of inherit in a really entertaining way, by the way. The ship is called the Unreliable, and the Unreliable is essentially the ship from Mass Effect, which is escaping me right now, but you use this ship to flit all over the galaxy, zipping all over the place, pursuing your different quest lines. All in all, I'd say we pretty much mainlined the campaign, and we did it in about 30 hours. You can do it a lot quicker if you want to, but we took our time, knocked out the companion quest, which again I really recommend. Also, we played the difficulty that we played this game on was hard, and I definitely recommend that. It was somewhat challenging without being overwhelming. The highest difficulty is Supernova, and that involves, it's kind of like a hardcore mode like you would see out of a Fallout or Skyrim. And I'm sure you're familiar with that. It is essentially you have to eat, you have to sleep at certain times. The combat, again, is much harder. You have permadeath for your companions, I believe. So lots of interesting things there, and if you want to platinum the game, definitely go for Supernova. Alright, as far as some things that I wasn't so crazy about, I was not crazy about some of their combat mechanics. So one of the combat mechanics that you can ignore if you want, it is called time dilation, or TTD. And time dilation is very similar to VATS, just without the targeting points of the weak points and things like that. It's kind of real time. It essentially just slows down time. You don't have a situation where you have like you don't have like a dice roll that's going into whether or not you hit these points like you do in some of the Fallout games. So it's not exactly VATS, but it's similar. I'm not a huge fan of VATS, and therefore I'm not really a huge fan of TTD, although later on in the game there are some perks that you can use that make TTD useful. I just feel like they could have done more with the combat system and make that a little more engaging. Again, the villains of this whole story are somewhat faceless, and the strength of it is really on your character and its companions, and the dialogue and the banter between them. All of that is very entertaining. Also, I would touch on the quest tracking. The quest tracking is not great. It would be wonderful to be able to track multiple quests at once, because there are times when you are at a location and you have multiple objectives that you could accomplish here, but you can only track the one quest at one time, which is, this isn't like a major complaint, just a small thing, but it is just a quality of life improvement that they may make somewhere down the road. I also felt like the unique weapons didn't really have much of a punch. They seemed kind of lacking. I would say that they might be better if I had leaned into the science perks more. So I'd love to hear from some of you guys if you did more of an intelligent playthrough, if you did a very intelligence-based character build, and you poured a lot of perks into science and that sort of thing. Let me know if you thought the science weapons were great. There were a couple notable exceptions to that. There's a gun called the Gloop gun, or gravity cannon. I think it's called the Gloop gun, though. Basically, you shoot out. It's like a grenade launcher, but with like this gloop that makes your enemies like float in the air, which is very entertaining and actually pretty useful. So that was a lot of fun. Look for that one. I would say that most of your character perks, not your skill ratings, but most of your character perks felt somewhat useless. Again, I'm not sure why RPGs still think that carry weight and encumbrance is still a good mechanic, but all of them do it. But I still think that's kind of a point against the game. Again, so other than your pack mule perks, I thought that most perks felt pretty useless. Your companions within combat feel incredibly useless except for their abilities. I I recommend, at the beginning of every combat sequence, especially in the harder difficulties, just use those character abilities because as quickly as you can, because they're gonna die almost in every combat sequence. Your companions, they're going straight down, pretty much from the beginning, right after they use their abilities. I would say that is pretty much it for the cons, though, and those cons don't take away from the experience very much. They really don't. I think that the pros of this game really outweigh the cons. I would definitely recommend buying this game. I paid full price for this game, so cards on the table again. This was not. I was not given a review code or anything of that nature. I bought this game myself. I think that Obsidian really did a great job with it. I'm looking forward to doing a Supernova playthrough. I'll probably put another 20 or 30 hours into this game. I feel like it was well worth the money. Both my friend and I, who played this game with me, left. Put this game down feeling extremely satisfied. I'd give it an 11 out of 10, honestly. This may be my game of the year. We shall see, but I loved it. I know that there are a lot of people who thought maybe that this game was somewhat mediocre, but I'm not seeing that. I felt like it was incredibly engaging. I judge a game by whether or not I found it entertaining. I thought the visual art style was incredible. The character creator was fantastic. Very engaging story. Companions with some awesome personality quirks, and again, just a customizable experience that you can have in your own head and on screen. Role playing whatever character you make is just a lot of fun. I very much recommend this game. And in conclusion, I just want to say thanks again for watching this video and for listening to the review. Please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Hit the bell in the corner. If you would like to get notifications when I put out a new review or a new gameplay video. I really do appreciate your support. Thank you so much, and until next time, guys, thanks so much.